Hey everybody, welcome back. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by. Firstly, you might be asking why my camera's at this angle rather than the top-down view I normally use. Well, the mount I normally use for the top-down view I actually lost while disc golfing. And you'll probably find out why in an upcoming video, probably mid next week or so. Anyway, today we're going to take a look at this Lenovo Thinkpad. It is the model t430, as you can see down there. I've actually owned this for about 5-ish years, and it was my work computer for my buddy's company that I worked under him, obviously. And I never returned it to him, but he's never asked for it back, mainly because the keyboard no longer works. Reason being, I spilled a soft drink, yes, a soft drink all over it, and basically nothing works in here. The power buttons, a couple of the keys work, or they just stick, and you have to mash around for it to stop sticking. And also, it's missing the F4 key and the little mouse nubby here. The touchpad and these mouse buttons still work, but the ones up here, nada. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to actually replace this keyboard, and I plan on shipping it back to him because he might want it for something, or maybe he'll just set it aside. But either way, I like to do the right thing in this situation. So, you can see off to the side here, I have my wireless keyboard and the dongle plugged in. And the way I currently have to boot it up is by plugging in the power cable back here. So, let me get it booted up here. Now, it has a clock error, obviously. That's because it hasn't been on in a couple years. I mean, I've booted up a few times today just to make sure it works still. And I even used it after spilling the drink for several months. Just had to plug in monitors to it and another keyboard like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. And what it'll do here is it usually turns off and then it'll turn back on and go through those screens again. But I'll speed up this footage and get back with you when we're getting into Windows. I just really want to show you that it does work before we go ahead and try to replace this. So we're almost to the boot up screen here, and it's either taking its time or because the key's stuck on here and I just wave my hand around, sometimes that fixes it. Nope, still trying to bring up the login screen. It does have a fairly slow hard drive, but it still functions pretty well as a work machine. I'm no longer going to use it, and thus why I'm going to send it back to him, so he can add it to his inventory or give it to another current employee that might need it. Alright, so here we are at the login screen. My phone did overheat because it's a little warm in the garage, and it tends to do that sometimes. If you're going to film video, don't get an S21 Plus, that's all I'll say. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm at the login screen. I'm going to move my keyboard off the screen here, which, because I'm not clicked in here, it's not going to let me log in. So let me get clicked there. And for some reason, it doesn't recognize my keyboard suddenly. So let me fix that problem. I had to get a different keyboard because that other one, the dongle needs to actually be resoldered. That's for another day. So this one will be recognized. Maybe it's that port. I don't know. Trust me, this was working earlier. I don't know what's going on here. one of the keys is actually sticking, so it's causing it not to type. Usually doing this number gets it to work. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so I'm going to put in my password off the screen. So yeah, if one of these keys is sticking, it doesn't matter any of these. Like I said, only a couple work, but if it's like Alt, Control, or one of the F keys, it'll just not let me type with the other keyboard. So, usually when I use this before, I just had this unplugged from the board. But, we're going to go through replacing it here. And as you can see, it takes a while to get into Windows, and that's, again, this hard drive is pretty slow. I think you'll get the idea with this. It does work. And my other way to kind of get around this is to remove the battery. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, it does boot into Windows here, and it's just taking a really long time to get everything up. I'm going to blur out a lot of these files because they are files I was using for customers and clients at that time. But again, it is working. My mouse is somewhere. It's being slow. It's actually holding a charge, which shocks me. Oh, nope, it's just charging. My mouse has gone MIA. But as you can see, it works. So I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to go ahead and get this working. I know the mouse is up here somewhere because it has a slight drift, and that's because of this yellow thing down here. Oh, there it is. Touchpad is being a little weird, and I think it's because it thinks there's another mouse. Yep. Alright, so let me go ahead and try and shut it down here. Thinks I'm right clicking for some reason. Alright. Windows key. So yeah, let me just reboot this because obviously I'm having some troubles with the mouse being recognized because of this stupid part right here. So we'll turn it off and we'll go ahead and pull the keyboard and get the new one installed. But before we go into installing a new keyboard, I have to open it up. So we'll do that together because I haven't even taken a look at this myself. It's been in the box, so I may not have even got the right part. Hopefully I did because I'm almost at the end of the return time, and that would be bad. So let me pop that off. Oh, there's a little bit of tape left. Cut away from yourself, not toward yourself. Don't need any unnecessary cuts of paint. So we put the razor blade aside, open it up, toss the box away, and make sure we got the right replacement. So here it is, and that does look correct. Let's double check it against this computer. And that's a perfect match. So let's take this one off, get this one installed, and it should be working. And let me turn it on with the power button rather than just plugging it in. So I'm going to set that aside. First things first, I need to get some tools. So I'm just going to use these plastic pry tools. I don't want to use metal and damage the laptop case. That would be bad. But the way this works, you push it backwards, and you just pop it out. Pull it forwards. And then get your little piece here. and it pops right off. And that's what it looks like on the back. So we can toss that aside as well. Just gonna move a couple things out of the way because my keyboard's over here. And then get our new one installed. So just have to place this back onto there. I think I am missing a screw or two because I did take them out to make sure none of the main components had been water damaged. So what I'll need to do is actually take this, I should probably drop the tools, and plug it into the, what Jerry Rig calls a Lego connector type connector. Or what does he say, little Legos? Anyway, easier said than done because you got to get it in the right spot. And it's underneath the keyboard. So you kind of have to make sure you're getting it correct. And yes, again, I'm using my Corsair headset because I'm too poor to buy an actual mic that doesn't pick up every frickin' sound in the room. So let me get this centered on, and it'll snap in there. Make sure that's down below. And now I can just pop that back in there, pop these down. They do take a little effort, and then you just slide it back. And it's good to go. So next is to see if it turns on. Well, as you notice, my phone did die again. Well, overheated. Again, don't use an S21 Plus to record videos at 60 FPS because it apparently doesn't like it. But as you can see, new versus old here. Definitely, this one has seen better days. However, there's all the texture on this one. It has the mouse nubby, it has the F4, and none of the keys are sticking like this one. I might try to repair this just to see if I can figure out what's going on here. However, like I said, I'm going to send this back to my former coworker and my buddy just so I can have it back. Because again, I'd rather do the right thing and get it back to him. So, next step is to turn it on. I already have it plugged in, so let's try the power button. And there it is booting up. So we'll just make sure, wow, it's already going into Windows. It didn't go through all the clock errors like last time. Probably because the battery got a little bit of charge. I think it should boot up into Windows or the login screen a little faster since there's not just a key being pressed down the whole time. That I definitely noticed when that keyboard was plugged in and one of those keys was stuck, it would delay Windows booting up severely. So I'll speed this up. Once there's the login screen, I'll get my password in, and we should be good to go. Alright, I'm going to blur out my name, obviously. So I'm going to type in the password. So there you see it, password's entered. Hit enter and it should load into Windows. Alright, now that I'm booted into Windows, sorry, I did pause the video again. But you can see this works. For some reason, this guy's not working. Let me see if I can get a click out of it. Might be a driver issue, might be something else, but for the most part, I believe the keyboard's working. These aren't set up either, but it is loading. So let me open Word. Alright, Word is there. Let's open it up. I typed Word, so that's a good sign. We'll just kind of go through pressing buttons. Now, Mute button is working. You can see it up there. Volume up, volume down. Mic mute, mic unmute. Probably not going to see that. All right, let's just go through. Can't verify my sub. We're not going to be able to do anything, so it's probably because I'm on here. So let's do Notepad. Notepad. Let's do full window. Oh, not that full. So QWERTY UIOP. Just going through all the letters here and symbols. Yep, those all work. Windows button. Yep. How about tilde? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dash plus. Well, equals. Backspace works. Control A. Arrow keys work. Control A. Yep. Can just type out random stuff. Space. Alt print screen should take a screenshot. And our function key should work. I'm not going to test those right now because I don't have anything to play. F1, 2, 3. Yep, these are all working. It's going to open full screen there of Microsoft. All right, so it is functioning. Let's check the delete key. All I got to do is figure out why these aren't working. And I think it's just something to do with the driver. But that fixed the drift. Everything else seems to work. So there you have it. That's pretty simple. Not much going on today. I mean, I could have tried to fix this by opening it up. However, for 30 bucks, I'd rather just replace it. I'll link this down below. If you have a t430 ThinkPad and you have an issue with your keyboard, you should be able to buy one, replace it real easy, because all you got to do is slide this backwards, pop it out, pull the plug, get the new one in there, plug it in, slide it in forwards, and pop it in as you saw. So, fairly simple process, nothing to it. We'll go ahead and not save this. And I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Alright, so off camera, I went ahead and I messed with some of the mouse settings. As you can see, the trackpad's working. I can right click with this button here. It's just still in the boot process, so it's taking a second. I can click here. This middle mouse button will scroll if I had something to scroll. But basically, I went into the mouse settings. And this just proves the whole keyboard works because I'm using this to go through everything. And I went into, we're on mouse. I just went to additional mouse options, clicked on that. And the track point here, I just unchecked and rechecked this option as well as the touchpad. And on top of that, well, we'll use this button. Went to touchpad, went to additional settings. Well, it's the same additional settings, but I went into here and I just kind of checked and unchecked everything and checked them again, whatever. Hit apply, hit OK, rebooted, and now all these buttons work. So this definitely just needed a few settings adjusted, so I can say this is 100% working, and definitely way better than this guy was. And I can pack it up, send it back to my buddy, and he can have this back. And yeah, he can give it to a new employee, whatever, throw it aside, whatever he wants to do, because it's his computer. However, that is going to be all for this video today. I know it was a fairly simple video, not much going on here, but I just wanted to go through the process of replacing this keyboard and show that it's fairly easy to replace this piece if you damage it or spill a drink on it like me, and get the computer working without separate parts. But again, that's all for today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, Please leave them down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you as fast as possible. Also, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, I really would appreciate it as it helps me out. I thank you all for stopping by today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care.